Celebrity stylist Deontay Nash, who worked with Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura, describing hearing Combs threaten Ventura's music career if she didn't behave how he expected, testifying that he heard Combs say that he was going to release sex videos on the internet, he was going to release them on schedule, and that he was going to first start by sending them to her parents' job to get them fired. He told the court that he tried to reassure Ventura that Combs wouldn't release the tapes because he was also on them. He says Ventura responded Combs wouldn't be on the video because he was filming her with other men. Later, Nash testifying to seeing Combs assault Ventura until her head hit a bed frame and began bleeding, saying that he tried to jump on Combs's back to stop him but was thrown off. Prosecutors showing this picture of a gash above her left eye when Ventura testified about this incident recently. During cross-examination, Combs' lawyers pointing to Nash's actions after that alleged incident, saying, quote, after the cut, the violence, you invited him and Cassie to come with you to a Halloween function? Nash answering, correct. Earlier in the day, an explosive moment when Combs' defense team called for a mistrial, prompting a heated showdown with New York prosecutors. It happened during testimony about an incident in December 2011 involving musician Kid Cudi, who was also dating Ventura. The witness, a Los Angeles firefighter and arson expert, saying that he was called to Kid Cudi's home and found a Molotov cocktail in his car, saying that he believed it to be a targeted crime. Prosecutors releasing these new photos of the damage. The arson investigator testifying it was determined that someone took the bottle, put gas inside, put cloth in it, and cut the vehicle and dropped the bottle inside. Arson is among the list of acts in the racketeering conspiracy charge against Combs. Combs has denied all the accusations against him. Minutes later, he told the court that fingerprint evidence from the scene was destroyed. Combs' team saying that the prosecutors asked questions insinuating that Combs had something to do with destroying the evidence in the possession of the LAPD, telling the judge that, quote, there is no way to unring this bell. The judge telling jurors to disregard the portion of the testimony regarding the destruction of evidence, calling it irrelevant, but denying the mistrial request and allowing things to proceed.
And Chloe Malas joins us now from outside the courthouse in downtown Manhattan. Chloe, tomorrow we expect to hear from another one of Combs' former assistants, who the government says they consider to be a key witness. Explain to us what we expect to hear.
That's right, Ellison. She is somebody who worked recently for Combs. She's going under a pseudonym to protect her anonymity. They're calling her Mia, and we expect her to take the stand tomorrow. And it could be pretty explosive and maybe be a part of that sex trafficking charge, both of those that Combs faces.
And Chloe, we also got an update today on Cassie Ventura. She is someone who many have called the star witness of this trial. Talk to us about that.
So NBC News has confirmed that Cassie gave birth to her third child, a baby boy, on Tuesday. We don't have any other details, but this is to be expected, as she was so pregnant on the stand just a few weeks ago that prosecutors, they really wanted her testimony to wrap up because they thought she could actually give birth around that time. But she has given birth this week to her third child. Ellison?
NBC's Chloe Malas, thank you. Jeremy Salan joins us now. He is a criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan prosecutor. Jeremy, as we heard Chloe mention there, the defense moving for a mistrial, claiming prosecutorial misconduct. The judge has denied that motion, but it's not uncommon, right, to see defense teams in any case make a motion like this. But I'm curious, from your experience, is there anything that we can glean from the fact that they did ask for this mistrial in terms of how maybe the defense feels this case is going?
No, this is typical. It's not atypical. This is something that regularly happens. And in between, when the prosecution rests, you're going to ask not for a mistrial, but you ask for a dismissal. These are ordinary things that they do. And you also want to remember, sometimes you're playing for after the fact, meaning you have a right to appeal. And when you appeal, you want to preserve that record. And this was certainly worthy of that preservation to say, wait a second, is there an undue prejudice? Is there something that was said by or asked by the prosecution that could make the jury think that Sean Combs had his hands in the destruction of these fingerprints? So it was worthy and important to do, but let's not overthink it. They were just doing their job.
Okay. Talk to us about what we heard on the stand today. Deontay Nash testifying pretty extensively about violence and threats allegedly from Sean Diddy Combs. But Combs is not on trial for assault. We've heard his defense team point this out even in their opening argument, saying, look, you're going to hear that he's a bad guy. We admit he did domestically abuse people, but that's not what he's on trial for, right? He is on trial for racketeering and sex trafficking, among other very specific charges. Did that testimony help the prosecution prove their case? And if so, how?
Well, Ellison, if you remember the other day, I said to you those three important factors: corroboration, corroboration, and corroboration. We're going to add another one, another corroboration, because we have someone who says, listen, Cassie got hit in the head at one point and was bleeding. There's been multiple corroboration of domestic violence. There was a concern about him stealing and having his home checked. There was the blackmailing or threats to the family about releasing the video or videos of Cassie. So it goes to the coercion element of the sex trafficking. But I would say the following still: where is the conspiracy? Where is the criminal enterprise? The prosecution needs to get over this hurdle because, to your point moments ago, this is not a domestic violence case in state court for beating someone up and doing reprehensible things. The prosecution still needs to get there. They're starting to bring it out and bringing out those underlying elements to establish the RICO, like the kidnapping, like the arson, but they're not there yet. It's slowly coming out.
If prosecutors are going to win this case, what would you say they need to do in the coming days to make sure the jury agrees with their view of what happened here?
Yeah, I think they need to establish that this really is a criminal enterprise. There is a structure with that same shared criminal goal of trafficking women and people and kidnapping and arson and drugs. They need to get there, and they haven't done it yet. We need people on the inside explaining what's going on, and they were, I use the term cahoots, it's not necessarily a legal term, but they were a part of this. So I think they're getting past the initial lower crime of the sex trafficking, which is 15 years. Or more. That's significant for a man his age or for anyone. But they still need to get out the rest and those underlying predicate acts and establishing that enterprise and that criminality, shared common mindset for Sean Combs to ultimately be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for the RICO conspiracy top count charge.
All right, a lot to watch in the coming days. Jeremy Saland, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.